He is as confident, competent, and educated as you. Yet society excludes him. If he had access to knowledge, he could be better. It's time for a reality check. There are over 10 million visually challenged individuals and millions of print-disabled people in our country. They cannot read standard print because of vision impairment, physical disability, and learning difficulties. They could read with the help of technological tools such as talking books, screen reading software, reading machines, screen magnifiers, etc. But if the information required is inaccessible, these tools are of no use. What would make these technologies really useful? E-books. E-books can help them overcome the information barrier. The visually challenged can read independently through the e-format, without the help of readers, for work as well as for pleasure. However, the major barrier to this is the Indian Copyright Act of 1957.
As you can understand that a visually challenged person has enormous problems in getting educated. JAWS is a software which has opened new horizons for such children. Our country has not done much in this direction, but I am 100% sure that with help of JAWS, most of the visually challenged children in the country will behave normally. You see, we have to also ensure that these children have a lot of self-respect for them. There should not be any loss of self-esteem. And when they are able to do things themselves and they don't have to depend on others, a feeling of self-esteem automatically comes in. But the most unfortunate part in this country is that we don't have a system by which the books, the textbooks and other books are available compulsorily in e-form. If these are available in the country, if we could have an e-library, these children probably would behave or perform better than the normal children. As I told you, I want an e-lab. You have to make them reach the knowledge world. They should not depend on anybody else to learn. These books cannot be converted into braille easily. In our country, we should make it available. First thing, the textbooks must be available in e-form. And I think that is one thing. You give it to them, they don't need anybody's help. They will be on their own. They will be competing with the best. And I'm 100% sure that they will do better than the best.
Many countries have recognized the special interests of the print disabled and have accordingly amended their copyright laws. This has made it possible for innovative e-libraries such as Bookshare to exist legally. In India, the Constitution is committed to creating an equitable and just environment for the disabled. But the copyright law is out of sync with the Constitution. The copyright law in the country can make printed material accessible by legalizing e-copies. E-copies are cheaper to produce, thus ensuring higher profits for the publisher. Although many publishers operate with electronic copies, they are unwilling to make these e-copies available to protect their copyrights. Publishers often cite piracy as the reason for not making e-copies available. This cannot be an excuse for denying the print disabled their rights. It may be easier to pirate e-books, but how many of us really read them?
The copyright laws in this country, these are grossly inadequate. They are not very user-friendly, especially for the visually challenged. The special sections that you need in the Act must allow the visually challenged to use them freely so that they are not considered as infringement under any law. What we need to do is to create aspects in our laws which are there so that publishers, for instance, or the creators of those works are not put to any disadvantage. Therefore, if a publisher has any concerns, they ought to be addressed. And the way to address this is to bring into the copyright law special sections which will deal with it, point number one. Point number two, we must bring into our copyright law some sections which deal with the such usage being considered as fair use under the copyright law. And last but not the least, very important, is we have to build into the system certain security measures so that once such laws are in force, the copyright owners are not put in a disadvantage.
A rising number of qualified visually challenged individuals are pursuing careers in management, law, academics, the civil services, etc. They would also like to enjoy the freedoms and dignity that they are entitled to. Isn't it time all of us, including the lawmakers of our country, opened our eyes to change the copyright law to meet the needs of the blind? The visually challenged individual is not handicapped. He is not impaired. He is challenged. We could either perceive them as a burden, or we could help destroy the barriers in their path. The choice is ours.